97thebeatfm.com, worldwide radio official sponsor of the Sherelle Underwood Radio Show.
You can't handle the truth.
You have a story to tell, and your story could be intimate and personal or something you want the entire world to see, because a tattoo is the most unique and personal form of individual expression. And body art is a master's craft. So when you decide to let somebody draw on your canvas, you need to seek out the truth. Truth's Tattoos have been creating world-class body art for over 10 years, and there's nothing the truth can't handle. Check out Truth's Tattoos on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll see there's other tattoo artists, and there's the truth. Stop being lied to and book your next tattoo appointment with the truth at 502-408-8403.
Counting all my blessings. One thing in the air. If you know you blessed.
KFX Kicks.
I'm counting all my blessings. Counting all my blessings. I'm 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 counting all my blessings. Amen. Amen. Hey, I'm Poker Jones and I'm blessed. Told the game I'm next. Home kicking with the bodybuilders, no Poker Jones, no flex. I'm out here counting my blessings, cause you don't know when the next. My brother just did 15 years, he coming home. Bless it. My best friend tried to do me in and I seen he come and didn't stress it. But I cut it off before he could. That's what you call a blessing. Everybody ain't your friend. Finding out is a blessing. Some folks try to use you up, they think you they blessing. Man, Lord, people hard to find. Finding something is a blessing. They'll keep it real in your face, but behind your back they messing. When Black died, I called my cross and I gave it to him the blessing. I told him, cool, no matter what, I'ma help the fam, not bless them. I'm counting all my blessings. Counting all my blessings. I'm 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 counting all my blessings. If you don't think life is a blessing, that mean we ain't on the same team. You ain't seen the things that I seen. I turned nightmares into dreams. We got put out the house, whole family. I think God was just trying to test us, cause that made us strong and that brought us closer. That's what you call a blessing. I wasn't born with it, I had to get it. All the money was a blessing. Small money was a blessing, but that tall money, blessing. My sister about to have surgery. I told her don't even worry. She told me I ain't even stressing. I'm counting all my blessings. I salute the true to do what they do that ain't out here just flexing. Everybody ain't a hustler. Being one is a blessing. Dropped out of school in 11th grade. I told him I don't need no lesson. Before grandma died, she told me go on back. That's what you call a blessing. I'm counting all my blessings. Counting all my blessings. I'm 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 counting all my blessings. Hey, I'm helping you, you ain't helping me. You better recognize your blessing. And that's a true sentence with no period on it, no explanations or questions. And I put that on this gold watch, this gold ring in my necklace. I'm a money machine investing. I'm counting all my blessings. My uncle just started smoking dope, he ain't need rehab testing. Now he get money like a Mexican. That's what you call a blessing. I hate a job is the hate. I don't deal with them, they trashy. We ain't built the same, they plastic. I'm counting all these blessings. You blessed, you got family. They got your bag like Hanley. They'll scrape the plate till you have it. No matter what they standing. Ain't subtract the haters, they ain't worth nothing. About riches, I want treasures. I'm Poker Jones and I'm focused on just counting all my blessings. I'm counting all my blessings. Counting all my blessings. I'm 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 counting all my blessings. Amen. Amen.
like your big booty Judy. Fellas, it should do this to please that booty. Girl, drop it like it's hot, like your big booty Judy.
Ready? Yep.
Welcome to Conscious Fever with Karl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.
Good evening. Welcome to Conscious Fever here on 97thebeatfm.com. I'm Karl Price, your host. Good evening tonight. We've got a very good show for you tonight. A very interesting show tonight. As we do here on Conscious Fever, we try to bring you information that sometimes may insult you. Sometimes you may be uptight about it. But we have a very interesting guest tonight. Calls himself John Yah. Welcome to the show, my brother. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for being here. This is Conscious Fever here on 97thebeatfm.com. Yeah, can you bring that light closer? Maybe it's just my glasses. Yeah, maybe we're okay. Maybe it's just my glasses. All right. So how you doing tonight, Mr. Yah?
I'm good.
That's good. Well, I think we've got a very interesting show tonight. We had some technical difficulties as we began the show, but now I think we've got them all taken care of. Yeah, this is cool. No, actually, can you bring it down some? I don't know why. See this, and we're still dealing with some difficulties, but we just want to make sure that that you all can see us. You know, especially see me, because I don't put on all this makeup for nothing. So I want to make sure. Yeah, there you go. I think that's it. Can you come over a little bit, John, so we can get so we can, and then that's our main monitor, and this is our. Yeah, can you bring that down some? You see? Yeah, right there. No, that's fine. That's fine. Just make sure me and John are on there. And that's just the editing piece. That's cool. All right, so we're here at 97, and we're not. Okay, there we go. 97 is over there. 97 to beatfm.com. Conscious Fever here. Welcome to the show, everybody, and thanks for joining us tonight. As you know from last week, we've started sort of a new format, and this format goes a little bit like this. We talk about the latest news for the first couple of minutes, and then we talk about the butthole of the week. And until somebody tells me to change that title, I'm going to continue to do that. So we may have some tonight, John Yah.
Calling already.
They're calling already, but we're not going to take any calls yet until after we get into our discussion.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Denise Brown to call back.
Okay. Take the call. Take the call.
He said. Go ahead.
97 to beatfm.com. It's Conscious Fever. Welcome to the show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
You don't have any sound on the internet, Mr. Price.
I don't have any sound on the internet.
On your
right.
live.
We're watching you. We can't hear you.
You're watching me. Okay. Well, we're gonna try to have that corrected. I don't. Is it upright? Is the video right? Caller, is the video right? Okay. Let me see. Maybe I don't know why I don't have it. I don't know why.
It's your settings on your laptop.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah.
Well,
let's go to a song while we fix it, and then we'll.
Okay, we're gonna be right back, and we're gonna take care of these technical difficulties. This is Conscious Fever here on 97 to beatfm.com. We'll be right back.
For real, I need Yeezy on this, man. Just wait until I get my hands on you. Bartender, around for her and around for me. Yeah. Say sugar, I want that cookie 'cause I bet it's sweet. Yeah. Bad girl, if you act rude, got a lesson to teach. Yeah. Hi mama, you got that fire, show me that heat. Yeah. Ooh, I ain't gon' play with it, give me one day with it, baby, when you leave, you'll be coming back. Oh, all up in your head with it, get you to the bed with it, turn you out, don't know how to. Yes, work it. Georgia, know you got that beach. Yeah. California, I heard you got that water. I'll be at your beach. Yeah. Chi-town, you like it hood? I pull up on your street. Yeah. Perro, Miami, SOS team, Baja Panty. Yeah. Ooh, I ain't gon' play with it. Give me one day with it, baby. When you leave, you'll be coming back. I ain't gon' play. All up in your head with it, get you to the bed with it, turn you out, don't know how to. Well, work it. now. You barely been asleep, babe. Posting pictures of your body. Do what you want. I see a hater, 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 hater on your timeline. I see a hater, 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 a hater on your timeline. She's about to block you, block you, block you, block you, block you from her timeline. She's about to block you, block you, block you, block you from her timeline. I can feel it in my body, down to my bone, down to my bone now. Everybody in the party, get on the floor now. We vibing to the beat, babe. I can feel it in my feet, babe. Posting pictures of you vibing. Do what you want. Do what you want. I see a hater, 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 hater on your timeline. I see a hater, 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 a hater on your timeline. She's about to block you, block you, block you, block you, block you from her timeline. She's about to block you, block you, block you, block you from her timeline. White girls with them big old booties, booty. Black girls with them big old butts. All girls with them big old booties, booty. Come on, girl, baby, have some fun and shake that booty, booty, that booty, booty, that booty on my timeline. And shake that booty, booty, that booty.
That should be sound now.
That booty on my timeline.
I think so. I don't. I guess somebody will call and tell me if I'm not. Hey, viewers on my Facebook page, if I don't have any sound, call in and let us know. Please, 502-384-6483. I think it's okay because now it's letting me do it upright. Before it was letting me do it to the side. Which is fine. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we got it. Okay. So whenever we can go
Check
back.
back with them, though. I play the welcome.
All right.
Welcome to Conscious Fever with Karl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.
All right, let's try this again. Good evening. This is Karl Price here on Conscious Fever, here on 97thebeatfm.com. We had some technical difficulties. I apologize for that. So we're getting started 20 minutes later than we are supposed to, but we're going to give you the whole hour of this particular show. Tonight's topic is health, melanin, and the melanated diet from a unique and different perspective. My guest tonight is John Yah. You can call in live at 502-384-6483 here on Conscious Fever on 97thebeatfm.com. As I started to say earlier, first of all, let me just say this. Live TV, live broadcast is and I'm going to use some profanity here, and I apologize if I piss anybody off, but live broadcast is a bitch sometimes. And that's why we have these technical difficulties. But in any case, let me just run right through this. The latest news here on Conscious Fever. This week, Justice Kennedy of the United States Supreme Court is retiring effective July 31st. Justice Kennedy has been recognized as the swing vote on the United States Supreme Court. So, more than ever, we have to vote. Everybody has to vote. Your voice has to be heard. I'm not sure if it's going to make a difference. I know we talked about this earlier, John Yah, and you said you were not as up on this particular news, but the problem is that it's going to be a conservative court. There's not going to be a swing man anymore. And without a swing man, there's going to be more favor towards the Second Amendment rights, more favor towards, my eyes are bad for a 50-plus-year-old, so I can't see what your comment is, but hello, whoever that is saying hello to me. Are they talking about the sound again? No. But in any case, That's going to be treacherous for our country, depending on what side of the fence you're on. Okay, if you're more on the liberal side of the fence, it's the abortion rights. For instance, the issue of the abortion rights. This is what the conservatives have been waiting for: an opportunity to take control of the Supreme Court once again. And once they take control of the Supreme Court, there goes Roe versus Wade. They've been waiting to overturn Roe versus Wade for many, many years. So there may be a considerable assault on women, a considerable assault on civil rights, the way some conservatives see it, different from some of the liberal views. So just keep that in mind and follow those stories if you haven't followed that. But Justice Kennedy of the United States Supreme Court is retiring as effective July 31st. And of course, he was appointed by Ronald Reagan, a conservative. So it's only fitting that he decided not to leave during Obama's era. He decided to leave when there was a Republican in office. My God, the worst Republican. But in any case, that's part of the latest news that because of the technical difficulties we had, we don't have a whole lot of time to spend on. But you're welcome to call in, and we can talk a little bit more about that and the impact that that's going to have on America, depending on what side of the fence you're on. The other part of this show as we begin it is the butthole of the week, and I'm going to keep calling it the butthole of the week. That's right, DJ Ice, until somebody says that they're offended by it. But this week, the butthole of the week is going to go to the rookie police officer in Pittsburgh who violently shot and killed a 17-year-old Anton Rose II. God rest his soul. This young man that was just running. And from all the reports that I've read, they don't even know if he was running from the car that they were chasing. Although they did find, some 2 guns in the car, and they found a clip or something in his pocket. But I never understand, John Yah, why police officers have to shoot when someone's running. Now, I understand the laws about fleeing felons and all of that, and but I can't. As many police officer friends that I have, I just can't wrap my head around that because if you look at the scenario at that moment, the only thing that was happening was this kid was running. And he may have been associated with this vehicle. He may not have been associated with this vehicle. But he wasn't harming anybody. At worst, he was going to get away. That's it. Shot him 3 times, hit him 3 times, and killed him. It was a rookie officer who had been sworn in hours before. And that officer's name has not been released in Pittsburgh. So we can't give him the official certificate of butthole of the week. But you get the butthole of the week. But I also will give share this butthole of the week award this week to the academy that he graduated from, because that's an institutional problem. Don't you agree, John Yah? I mean, that's an institutional problem. If a rookie doesn't know that he or she has to be restrained under certain circumstances, it's not that you always have to catch the person running. It's just that you have to serve and protect. And there's nobody to protect when the person is running away from whatever he's running away from. And I can see if he was running away from somebody and he's dragging, a victim with him. But that was not the case. So that rookie police officer, congratulations here on Conscious Fever. You get the award for Butthole of the Week. And I think you deserve it. And that's the second week in a row that we've given that award to a police officer who has shot a suspect, an alleged suspect. We don't even know whether Anton was, in fact, a suspect. So I suspect that the protests and the rallies will continue on in Pittsburgh because, at some point, this just simply has to stop. So because of the time that we've lost, we're going to jump right into our topic. Our topic tonight is health, melanin, and the melanated diet from a unique and different perspective. My guest tonight is John Yah. And Brother Yah, I understand from, the call-in that you gave us last week, you're going to share with us some interesting stuff.
Yes, I am.
Talk to us about melanin. What does my listeners and the audience out here at 97tobeatfm.com and those that are listening on my Facebook Live page, What do they need to know about health, Melan, and the melanated diet?
Okay, well, by the way, thank you for having me on.
Oh, thank you for
this topic.
thank you for joining us.
And I want to make this topic simple
Come a little
without
bit over here.
making it too
Right
too
there.
technical.
Just
So we're
along
going
as
to
you.
make it simple. And if anyone have any questions, please question on the facts that I'm going to give. If anyone wish to look it up, you can. Basically.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if they don't believe you,
Well, what I'm
They-
going to just bring some facts. And,
Okay.
And we can talk about the opinions of it later.
Okay.
One thing I would not do is debate facts.
gotcha.
I would debate my opinion of my findings of the facts.
Okay.
Make sense? So I want to start by giving an understanding about a plant, and this is why I brought you this plant here. This plant here is called a money tree.
Money tree.
Right. And it's out of South America, and it's a swamp. It was grown in the swamps, right? So this plant here doesn't need a lot of light, and I didn't know if you had this good place to put it in the window. But the reason that I wanted to bring a plant to give an understanding on how we relate a plant to melanin, right? So here, a plant does several things, which is very interesting. First, a plant has photosynthesis in its leaves,
Okay.
right? So it actually eats the sun. It takes the sun in and converts it into energy,
Okay.
right? Then the plant also eats carbon dioxide in the air. So it sucks in the carbon that's poisonous. in the air.
Okay.
While it's drinking water from the ground, its waste product is oxygen.
Okay.
So the relationship to a plant, when we get to the melanin part, you're going to see how we're so related to the plant. The plant also has chlorophyll in the center of it, right? It's part of chlorophyll,
Okay.
which is a cousin to melanin.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about health, we have to understand our relationship with our food and our plants that we have, right? So with that said, I want to talk a little bit about cellular regeneration.
Okay.
So in the body, and this is very important, of all diseases, is to understand,
I want to keep your mic away from your face on that camera.
okay,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I just his face is just
gotcha.
so when we edit, we want to make sure that we get that.
All right, so the cells of the body is very interesting, this concept of the cells. So here you have, a human body has
Stay over this way too, John.
billions of cells in the body,
Okay.
okay? So each cell has billions or millions of molecules. So what is a molecule? A molecule is an atom, right? So when an atom breaks apart, they call it a free radical.
Okay.
Because there's now the atom has broke apart and it becomes a free radical. When it becomes a free radical, every time that atom or that molecule touches, that free radical touches another atom, it breaks apart also. So you can see the difference of how it starts breaking apart. under the
Gotcha.
microscope.
Okay.
This is where mucus, it begins. And this is where all diseases are born, inside of this breaking apart of free radicals,
Interesting.
right? So we have this word called antioxidants that people talk about when you're getting ill, right? And so antioxidant is the key to turn around the free radicals back into a whole cell again. So in health, when you're looking at the cellular level, you want to talk about the free radicals and where you're getting ill, and this is where it's at. So if you take in lots of antioxidants, you're always ahead of the free radicals in your body. Give you a reason why we should do this, because we're always breathing in toxins.
Gotcha.
Not only that, we eating toxins.
Absolutely.
Right? So you always having breakdown of your cells in your body, and they're not constantly regenerating itself. This is how you have longevity in life, is to have lots of antioxidants in your body.
Okay.
So it plays a role in our existence of how we survive.
So let me just pause just a second and ask you, what are some of the examples of how we're intaking toxins?
From the air, from the water we're drinking, from the food that we're eating, We're not eating natural foods. A lot of us are eating foods that minerals have been taken out. Like, I give you an example. Take whole wheat, and you see wheat, right? Well, what happens is they have taken out a component out of it and put something else in.
Right, they're manufacturing the wheat
Exactly.
today as opposed to 40 or 50 years ago.
Exactly. So then you are not generating your cells. You are actually causing your cells to die in your body.
Why is it?
This is what causes you to age in your life.
Absolutely. So why is it important to generate your cells, though?
For life.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what life does. It generates itself. It constantly reproduces itself inside your body. Your body have a way of always getting rid of toxins out your body.
Right.
I'll give you an example. Your cells have a diet. It eats enzymes. Then it also defecates inside your body. But your body has a way of releasing these toxins out your body through your urine, through your stool, through your nose, through your mouth, through your sweat. The body has its own detox function, a way of releasing these cells.
Interesting.
If it doesn't, then this is where you start to get ill inside your body.
Gotcha.
So all illness starts in the mucus. I don't care what illness it is that you have in your body, it starts with that, where your cells are breaking down.
When you say the mucus, so it starts up here.
Right. No. See, mucus is where all diseases are born. It doesn't mean it has to be.
Doesn't have to be up there. Right.
That's, when you have mucus here coming out, that's your body's trying to detox it out. The problem is we look at allopathic medicine. It tells you to take something to dry that up. Well, the toxins don't go away. They stay in your body.
Right.
Your body has a natural way of releasing this inflammation or releasing this toxin out your body.
So if medication is not the option, what is the option? Because all medication does, for instance, if we're just talking about the mucus, all it does is just dries it up.
Depends. I would tell you that in allopathic medicine, they're going to make you sick before they make you well.
Interesting.
Just like what they do in homeopathic medicine, where they actually give you the disease and wait for your body to become immune to it to fight it off. It doesn't make any sense.
Interesting. Okay.
So we're talking the cellular level. And so this is where we're getting into now. We're going to get into this discussion of melanin. So melanin, first of all, is a molecule. It is actually an atom. And there are actually 4 types of melanin in the human family. In fact, 4 types in the whole universe, according to science. There's no 5th. Right? There's another word for melanin because melanin is actually a Greek word. Another word for it, they call it, is carbon. So melanin is actually not black, it's actually dark green.
So when people talk about melanin, I mean, you read about these stories on the internet where melanin has been sold at 30 times the price of gold, right, and all of that. Right. So they're not really buying black, they're buying dark green.
Well, no, we're going to look at this from the cellular chemical part of it. Okay, let's get into the 4 different types of melanin. Okay, you have EU melanin, which is really called hue melanin, and then and that is from yellow or dark brown or light brown to blue black. The blacker you are, the more melanin you have. Just that simple. And
now, when you say the blacker you are, you mean in pigmentation?
In pigmentation.
Okay.
Correct. So the blacker you are, the more melanin you have. But you are still in the melanin, EU melanin family, even though you're light skinned to dark skin. But we want to talk about what melanin does and its power, and we can understand exactly who we are and how we exist on this planet.
Okay.
So that's one, and let's finish up what melanin does in EU melanin. EU melanin is to the surface of your skin. It's what makes us brown or the color, right? But it's far deeper than that beneath the skin. So melanin, EU melanin, takes in the sun, just like a plant does, and it converts it into energy inside our bodies, right? So here, what you have is melanin has, this is why black people or people of color, we hear sounds different than any other people. This is why we understand beat. This is why we have the rhythm.
Is this why we dance better?
That's right.
That's why we dance better.
So
okay.
It has the spectrum of the eye. We see color like no one else sees color.
Interesting.
Right. And it also deals with taste. We taste food like no other people. This is why people travel across the sea just to get spices from us, because we taste food differently. We have a different blend. You ever heard of people eating bland food or white people cook? Well, because it didn't have flavor.
Right.
So
the essence of soul food.
The essence of, well, no, I wouldn't want to call it soul food because that's slavery food.
No. I understand that, but I'm just saying. The when you talk about that unique taste, that
how we
being
taste
the
food.
essence, right? How we taste food.
We taste food on our tongue.
Right.
It's far different than any other people.
Gotcha.
Planet,
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So it also deals with.
He says slave food, DJ
right.
Ice. He says soul food is slave food.
It also deals with our rhythm on the planet. This is why we dance. This is why we run faster. We jump higher. Physically, we are designed this way because of the melanin. Remember, it takes the sun and converts it into energy inside our bodies, right? Which plays a role in our digestive system of how we digest our food, just the same as a plant. So now the second melanin is called pheomelanin, which is spelled P-H-E-O. It's pheomelanin. You can also look this up, those of you who are listening. Pheomelanin is from pale to pink, the color on the outer layer of it, from pale to pink. Well, let me go back for a second about EU melanin. Also in the center of EU melanin is selenium. And of course, selenium is an antioxidant built in. So in essence, EU melanin is a master cell. It produces and reproduces your own cells in your body, right? So back to pheomelanin. Pheomelanin is from pale to pink. It reflects the sun, doesn't digest the sun. It reflects it back, right? This is where European people get skin cancer and get skin disease. Also, because their melanin is not to the surface of their skin, it is more dense to their bone. This is why they can stand cold weather longer.
Gotcha.
Because we have melanin on the outer layer, we feel different. We feel the sun faster, we feel cold faster, and there's a magic in melanin once we get into the diet that you can feel people's presence through your melanin.
Through the melanin. You can, okay.
Right. You can feel people's presence. So pheomelanin, in the center of pheomelanin is sulfur, okay, which is one of the reasons why the president of Venezuela, I think, called Bush sulfur when he came to the podium.
He called him sulfur.
He said, I smell sulfur. You remember that?
Right. I do remember that. I do remember that.
He's really giving us a sign that white people really have. And I want to make this truth. I don't want to make this a racist issue. I just want to give some facts on where we are in life and why we in this condition. This is we're talking about health. The third one is called allomelanin, which is spelled A-L-O-E, like aloe vera. This is the deep soil into the ground. The black soil into the ground is allomelanin. Thirdly, which is I'm most interested in, is neuromelanin, which is in the center of the brain. This melanin is very interesting because it actually secretes out of the pineal gland. And it actually is a part of the cerebrospinal cord fluid that runs down the center of our backs and connects through all our nervous system.
Okay. Now let me stop you just a second, brother, y'all, and explain to the people what the pineal gland is.
Okay. Well, the pineal gland is a gland, and of course, glands in your body secretes medicine out, where an organ takes in and processes.
Okay.
So in the pineal gland has it sits in the third ventricle of the brain, which is centered here and here, right in the center of the brain. It has a vibration to it. It actually vibrates.
Okay.
Right. It has a movement to it. It doesn't stand still. So in order to really get the best out of your melanin, the best has to come from a certain diet. It has to come to proper sleep. And well, what this would do, it actually opens your brain up to thoughts that are closed. So we're going to talk about also foods that releases the melanin, helps produce it more. We're going to also talk about foods that are harmful to melanin, like fluoride.
Gotcha. And I'm going to pause you just there. We're going to take a quick break, but let me just say this to some of the listeners that are out there, particularly the ones that are listening in from the St. Louis, Missouri area. You're in our prayers. Please take cover. We understand that there is a severe tornado warning in the St. Louis area. So Taria, Nicole Dunn, be safe there. You guys be careful there. Understand that our prayers are with you from here on Conscious Fever here in 97 here in Louisville, Kentucky on 97thebeatfm.com. But we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the association of the foods and the melanin with my guest John Yah. This is Conscious Fever. I'm Karl Price, your host. We'll be right back right after these messages.
You can't handle the truth.
You have a story to tell, and your story could be intimate and personal or something you want the entire world to see, because a tattoo is the most unique and personal form of individual expression. And body art is a master's craft. So when you decide to let somebody draw on your canvas, you need to seek out the truth. Truth Tattoos have been creating world-class body art for over 10 years, and there's nothing the truth can't handle. Check out Truth Tattoos on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll see there's other tattoo artists, and there's the truth. Stop being lied to and book your next tattoo appointment with the truth at 502-408-8403.
Welcome back to Conscious Fever, hosted by Karl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.
All right, welcome back to Conscious Fever here on 97thebeatfm.com. I'm Karl Price, your host. My guest here tonight is John Yah, and he's talking to us about Melan and the melanated diet. And you're welcome, Taria Dunn. They're in St. Louis. You all, our prayers are with you. Be careful. Get away from that tornado. They're not cool. Our guest here tonight is John Yah, and Brother Yah, we left off with talking about these 4 different types of melanin, and the last one you talked about was neuromelon, yes, which I'm very interested in because that's the melon that's closely associated with our brains. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Let's pick up there. Hello, Thomas Jacobs. Thanks for joining us tonight, sir.
Okay, so neuromelanin is what repairs your brain. It clears your cognitive thinking.
Make sure you're talking to him.
Right. One of the things happens that when we eat certain foods, we actually create a blockage of the melanin in our bodies. It plays a role with our thinking. It plays a role with opening up your thoughts, clear thoughts. Right. It helps you understand your ability to think and to feel without anyone speaking.
Okay, so let me just put this in perspective. Okay. So if melanin is a quality, our diet has a drastic impact on getting the most out of that quality. Correct. Is that correct? Okay. Yes. Okay.
So there are certain diets that you want to get into to increase the melanin, and mainly it's a lot of green food. Remember, because melanin and chlorophyll are cousins.
Gotcha.
So you want to make sure you're getting the proper foods in your body. The problem is that we in this side of under this condition that we're not eating properly, which is what you're seeing in our people today, right? So I give you an example like detoxing. People talk about wanting to detox, but fail to recognize that the body's always detoxing. What we need to do is learn how to help the body detox better without having to take a process to detox. So there are certain foods that help you detox. I got a list here of a few herbs. Wheatgrass is a great detox. Barley grass, alfalfa, spinach is good. Spirulina is great for the brain. Colola, watercress, and cilantro. And I want to touch on 2 things here: watercress and cilantro, which is very important. Watercress, if you kind of Google and look up some information what watercress does, watercress actually decalcifies the brain, removes calcium from the brain.
And that's and that's important, right?
Yes.
Because for years we have been under this assumption that all the fluoride that we get in our body, which calcifies a certain part of our brain,
the bones, it actually makes the bones condense and releases more calcium into the body, where the body is not able to flush it out enough, so it gets into the bloodstream and it affects the brain.
Right. So let's talk about the watercress. So what is the effect of the watercress when it, when you introduce it to your brain? How about that?
Well, eating watercress helps you to detox the brain and of your body from the being calcified, right? Being over calcified. And what we're told is that depending on the narrative that we're listening to, when people say that fluoride is good for your teeth, and they justify it through that, but actually fluoride is a poison. It's actually a neurotoxin.
Y'all hear that? Fluoride is a poison. Let's talk about that.
Well, and so it makes you wonder, if you realize it's a neurotoxin, why is it that the city council are continuously feeding the people fluoride?
Why is that? Why do you think it is?
Oh, see, we're playing a role with trying to keep the people docile. Well, what does fluoride do to the brain? It makes people less responsive, right? This is something they fed to the Nazi, or they fed to the Jews in the prison camps. They fed them fluoride water.
Interesting.
Right? So if you have your brain calcified, a lot of this information won't really resonate with you.
Right,
because
right.
you're not eating right.
Right.
My thing is that if you eat right and you eat according to your body type, you will understand more things around you. You'll have more clarity in your thoughts.
Now, what do you mean when you say according to your body type?
Well, melanin.
Melanin.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, so because of pheomelanin people, and of course pheomelanin is a defect melanin. It is not nowhere near as strong as EU melanin. If you notice when we talked about, if you look up melanin extract, you will see that melanin is actually for sale.
Right.
So here they selling melanin, but there's only 4 types of melanin. The question is, where are they getting that melanin from? You can see where white people are taking melanin injections, right? So what does this mean? Because actually their birth rate is declining. So somehow they have learned how to extract melanin from us. This is why they go over in Africa and adopt black kids. When all the black kids here, right? Why you go way over there? So it plays a role in their survival. Again, if there's only 4 types of melanin, let's be real. Then what melanin is on sale where you can buy it for over $400 a gram? That's very expensive. Well, where they get it from? So why do you think it's important that they have abortion clinics? What are they doing with the fetus? Look at women who have babies and the afterbirth. What do they do with it? You have to sign a lot of papers to get your afterbirth.
And the majority of women in this country that are getting abortions, according to the statistics that are reported, are black and brown women.
No
okay.
Doubt. Right. So we're looking at you're looking at a people who are being manufactured, right, to keep another people survive. That's where we at. So again, if you look up melanin and you look up the extract and the cells of it, and there's only 4 types, we ain't talking about the melanin in the soil. We sure ain't talking about pheomelanin. Who wants that?
Right. And that's the PHEO. PHEO. Yeah, right. Okay.
So there are certain ways we need to understand how to protect our melanin.
Now, before you get into that, which one of these 4 melanins is selling at 400 grams on the open market?
EU melanin.
Which one? Oh, the EU.
melanin. Yeah, that's the top melanin.
That's the top melanin.
That's associated with everything on the planet.
Gotcha.
That is the rich one. That is the one that it has all the gold. It's because you look at the price of it, right? So you were talking about how capable black people are on this planet. The problem is that we're unaware of it. This is not only here in this country. We're talking all over the world.
Right, because there's more black and brown people all over the world. You got black people
in other countries lightening their skin because of some narrative that makes you believe being black is bad.
Yeah, like Michael Jackson.
Right. So the thing about
maybe Michael Jackson.
Well, yes, in a sense.
I mean, they claim that Michael Jackson had a disease, right?
Well, they claim that, but I'm not familiar with Michael Jackson's condition. But what I'm saying is that when you look at the condition of who we are and what we're capable of, then you will understand why is it that why they own an assault. Why are we always being assaulted all over the planet? Well, you talked about this thing with this judge. I can see a lot of stuff are distractions to keep us distracted of what's really going on. Right?
Interesting.
So that's the issue, is that what melanin is on sale, who's buying it, and where they getting it from.
Are black people buying the melanin?
No, ain't no black people buying
black
melanin.
people buying the melanin.
No, for what? What they need it for?
Right.
You already have melanin. But let's look at the neuromelanin. When neuromelanin secretes out the brain, it only does it between midnight and 4 in the morning. Then it settles off 4 in the morning. At that point in time, the melanin turns into a hormone called serotonin.
Serotonin.
Yeah. So when you wake up in the morning and you feel that the urge to go and do and be part of something, right? That's your serotonin. And there's ways you can increase that serotonin. You can increase it with gotu kola, ginkgo, rosemary, spirulina is great, eye bright is good, ginseng, goji berry. These things are good for that melanin, that serotonin in the day.
And all of these are plants. I mean, most
Yeah,
of them are plants.
correct. All of these are
Right,
plants.
right.
Now, spirulina isn't. Spirulina is a seaweed.
Right.
But the rest of them are.
Let me just say this. I recall hearing that when we were talking about, I mean, not you and I, but I was talking with someone about apes and primates. And it said that, you know, if you gave them a piece of meat, they would throw it back at you. You know, that all they do is eat the plant.
Correct.
Eat the plant, eat the plant, eat the plant. What is the significance in that? I mean, I know you're not an expert on primates, but I'm just, in terms of the relationship to what we're talking about tonight.
Well, they got sense. They know what they're supposed to eat. But let's look at serotonin. You know, you can buy serotonin. They sell it. Who's buying it? Why do we have to buy it when we have serotonin? Right? The same as melatonin, because later in the evening when the sun begins to set, that hormone that is serotonin turns into melatonin. This is beginning to break you to relax. And they sell that online too, right? You can buy that in the stores, right? So the question is, where are they getting this from?
Where are they getting it from?
Humans.
Humans.
Us. Yes, they're manufacturing us.
They're manufacturing us.
Yes.
Kind of like
Nobody never asked that question. Where are you getting that from?
Where are you getting it from? Right,
Yes.
right. Where do you? How can you sell something as pricey as you sell it for, and it's actually a human product?
Right. It's not easy to get.
It's not easy to get.
Right, because we have it naturally.
So you can't go out in your backyard and grow it. You can't grow it on your farm. You can't grow it on your garden. You have to get it from a human. So when you talk about the fetuses from these aborted babies, for instance, I mean, is it a possibility that's where they're getting it from?
Doubt. It's all kinds of issues with that, with the what they're doing with our leftovers. Even in surgery, what do they do with the leftovers? You think they throw that away? No. That's the gold mine to them.
That's gold mine. Interesting.
You know, when black people come up missing, don't think that they ain't using you for something. If it is an organ, taking organs off your body, right? Because we are gold. The problem is we don't know we're gold. And that's the issue. That's where we are as a state right now, that we don't know who we are. So real quick, to understand melanin and to understand what we need to stay away from, basically, it sounds funny, but everything white. White salt, white sugar, white flour, white rice, white women. All of that takes away from protecting your melanin. Right? So in other words, anything you do, if you put your seed and don't put it in another melanin, then you're not producing the best of you. That makes sense?
I hear it. Yeah,
Right,
it does
okay?
make sense.
Right,
I mean, it makes sense.
Melanin, when you understand it, you want to produce more of that. You don't want to produce less of that once you understand the power of melanin in our bodies and how it works.
So, judging from that statement, I mean, so what you're saying is that let's take an interracial child. How does the interracial child play into this?
Oh no, the interracial child got melanin.
Right, they got melanin,
Yes.
but apparently not as much.
Well, not as much.
Not as much.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So we don't understand the dynamics of our bodies, and this is why we're in the condition we're in. We're eating a European diet, and this is why we get sicker than they get sick, right? We have the highest in diabetes. We have the highest in hypertension and blood and heart disease. Why is that? Because we're eating a diet we ain't supposed to be eating.
Right. Now, I've heard that before.
Right.
I'm sorry, before, such as, the dairy products.
Correct.
When you're of dark skin pigmentation, a lot of the dairy products are not aching to be easily digested.
Well,
Am I correct in
yes.
that in that
It
sense?
doesn't digest
Right.
as normal.
As normal.
Like when people eat meat, and I don't knock people who eat meat, of course, but do you know why you're eating meat, and do you know how much meat to eat? A lot of people eat meat every day, and it doesn't make any sense. This is why the colon's messed up, right? So if you look at 1/3 ounce of meat, 1/3 ounce is like the size of a hamburger patty. Well, it takes your body 30 days to remove that out your system. So why would you eat it every day? That makes sense?
Interesting.
Just the same as fish and chicken. Well, fish is something like a couple of days, but chicken is about a week, 14 days to a little bit more than a week. And so like poultry and turkey. So we want to look at why we're eating this food and what our body's doing with it. When people got that big midsection, that's not their stomach. That's undigested food that ain't came through their system yet.
All those years.
All those years. That's because they continue.
That's a long
to
time.
Eat. They continue to eat it though. They don't stop eating it, and that's the issue. It takes that long to get rid of it.
That's a long time to have that food in your body. So how do we? So let's say I'm 57 years old. So let's say that I have eaten bad all of my life.
Mm-hmm.
How do I reverse the curve?
Oh, you can easily do that by just changing your diet. Your body will repair itself. It is capable of repairing itself. If you continue to eat the proper diet, your fruits and vegetables, mainly like your kales and your spinach and your broccoli, you will automatically regenerate your cells and toxify your body from your illness that you're having. Automatically. There's, like I said, there are certain foods we need to stay away from, but there's certain foods we need to learn to eat. The problem with a lot of us is that we don't want to retrain our palate of the way we eat. Look at sugar, for instance, which is one of the most dangerous chemicals out there that they're given to kids. In candy and drinks, this is called processed sugar. And when you have processed sugar, you have a lot of other chemicals in it. Well, let's look at something for a second. All foods.
Before you start there, let me just say this, Brother Yah. You know, it's interesting that you say that about sugar because you know, there is a grocery store here in Louisville where when you enter through one of the entrances, the first thing you see is sugar.
Yeah.
All the processed sugar products. And when you check out, guess what you see?
You see the impulse aisle, and this is
and it's all sugar.
Nothing but candy. And what parents are doing by being unaware, you actually poisoning your kid.
Right.
Off the bat, right? And so even if your child was in the womb and you're eating bad, well, it's affecting your child, right? So this is creating all kinds of problems because what they're doing is sugar today. So let's look at something for a second, and it's interesting because it deals with the pancreas. All foods when your body processes it, it turns it into glucose. Well, glucose is another word for sugar. This is where you get your energy from, right? So what makes your pancreas overloaded is when you start taking in the processed sugar with the rest of the foods that you eat. If your body doesn't know how to recognize a certain food, you know what it does? It actually sends its own chemicals so that it can identify it. So this is why sugar dehydrates your organs. It takes from your organs. You see people who wearing Depends because they can't hold their urine or because they can't hold their stool. That's because sugar has broken down the muscle in the bladder. And so people can't hold their bladder anymore. Alcohol does it. Alcohol turns into sugar. White potatoes turn into sugar. White rice turns into sugar in your body. So this is making your body worse.
White bread too,
right? It's making you ill. It ain't helping you survive.
Right.
It's not regenerating nothing in your body. And this is where our illnesses come from.
It's interesting. Well, we've got another break because we're going to go just a few minutes longer tonight because we had some technical difficulties that before the show started. And I'm looking at the comments, and you know, one viewer says this brother knows what he's talking about. So glad John Yah family is a guest on your show, Karl. Thank you, and Miss Morrison, and thank you for watching tonight. But we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about. I'm going to give a brief testimony about what I'm doing with sugar now, and my sugar addiction, and what happened to me when I stopped eating sugar.
Okay.
Here just a few weeks ago. So this is Conscious Fever here on 97thebeatfm.com. We'll be right back right after this quick break.
You can't handle handle the truth.
You have a story to tell, and your story could be intimate and personal or something you want the entire world to see, because a tattoo is the most unique and personal form of individual expression. And body art is a master's craft. So when you decide to let somebody draw on your canvas, you need to seek out the truth. Truth's Tattoos have been creating world-class body art for over 10 years, and there's nothing the truth can't handle. Check out Truth's Tattoos on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll see there's other tattoo artists, and there's the truth. Stop being lied to and book your next tattoo appointment with the truth at 502-408-8403.
Welcome back to Conscious Fever, hosted by Karl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.
All right, Karl Price here on 97thebeatfm.com, Conscious Fever, your host. My guest tonight is John Yah. Again, thank you, everybody, for sticking around. We're over our normal time, but we got started late because we had some technical difficulties. But we got a very interesting topic tonight, talking about melanin, and then we started talking about this topic of sugar, and talking about the melanated diet, and actually the diet in general, fluoride, calcification, the pineal gland, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things that and we'll talk about wheat here also. But one of the things that I just wanted to add to the sugar discussion right before we took the break was that, I go on these fasts. So from January 1st to June 1st, my fast was absolutely no red meat. None whatsoever. I mean, I'm not a big red meat eater anyway, but I just went cold turkey on red meat. And that was not much of a problem. But let me tell you, on June 1st, I started no sugar. And the first week, it was almost like I was an addict. I couldn't sleep. I was getting up in the middle of the night. My sleeping patterns were all off. My body felt a certain way. I felt the physiological challenges that come with just having an addiction and not knowing it, and then going into detox.
Yes.
And my body was detoxing sugar.
Yes.
And it was completely unbelievable, because all of my life, when I was young, it was a good day when Mama brought sugary cereal home. Right?
Yeah.
It was a good day. Otherwise, you had cornflakes and you had to put the sugar on there. That's if you had sugar left in the house.
Right.
I was in a big household. But it's interesting how my body reacted. Now I think I'm coming around. And the interesting thing is my waist is smaller. Just since June 1st, my waist is smaller, but I'm maintaining my weight. It's easier now for me to build muscle. So easy for me to build muscle. And I'm not just bragging on my body, but I would tell you I can see the abs that I hadn't seen in a long time. Right. So it's interesting. So this sugar thing is extremely real. So, but anyway, we're going to get back to we're going to pick up where we left off with you, John Yah. Before we left on the break, we were talking about the sugar. I know somebody had asked about wheat. Well, wanted to know about wheat. And I know we had this conversation about wheat,
right,
and the impact that it has on our body and how it produces sugar. Well, I'll let you talk.
Okay. Well, I mean, when you look at wheat, you want to look at eating whole wheats. You don't want to look at eating something that's been processed or something been taken out. Well, why not eat whole wheat? And the question becomes, the mad scientist, why did you take the whole part out, and why did you want to put something else back in?
Right.
So we got to look at where we're eating and where we're eating from, and really try to get back to eating natural foods. That's why I wanted to bring up the issue about the plant, how the plant and us were so related. The plant and us were so related.
Right.
But somebody got us twisted backwards, eating this foul way that's making us ill. I remember one time you and I was talking about statistics about the government understands or has a plan where people have a certain lifespan to live no more than 67.
Right, the life expectancy tables.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, who created that narrative? And why is it that we don't believe that we can live 100, 200 years?
Right.
Because we don't understand the generating of our cells.
Right.
We don't have a clue that our cells can generate. If you look at Henrietta Lacks, the story of Henrietta Lacks, her cells live forever, still alive today. They're still using her cells.
Right.
So if you put a person in the right environment along with the right consciousness, you can be here 200 years easy. If you put into the right environment, with the right consciousness, you can be here for a while and not age as fast, right? And that's where we are.
Do you want to be?
Love to be, of course. That's my goal, right? Why? What? Why not? Right? So one of the problems is that we have this narrative in our brain that everybody think they're going to die at a certain age, right? Well, who gave us that narrative?
Right.
And this is where we don't have a clue about how our body functions. When we just talked about the sugar and how it's fed to us at an early age in life.
Right.
And so that's one of the problems that we haven't. People are so addicted. When you start talking about sugar, it turns them off.
Right.
Because why? That means your ass got to work. You got to start reading the labels and shit. Right. To understand what you're putting in your body.
Right.
And that takes work.
Right.
But the conscious level will make you do that. Once you are educated on what you're eating, you will change your diet. But as long as you don't want to be educated, then you will continue to eat the way you eat, and you don't know why you're sick. This country here is a business to keep you ill. Period.
Business to keep you ill. That's interesting.
Right. It ain't here to help you get well or stay well. It's bent on keeping you ill, keeping you constantly going to the pharmacist, constantly going back to doctors. Doctors get a kickback from pharmacists, right? And so it's really all about money, generating the money until you dead into the ground. That's what they want.
Right. Then they still make money.
And they're still gonna make money off of you.
Still about 8 or 9, 10, $12,000 to bury to put you in the ground.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Why they steal all your organs.
Right. And they steal all your organs. You know, I was talking to somebody today about. She was telling me that she was embalmer, and she's telling me about the organs. She said, "Oh, we just put them in a bag and put them in there. You know, put them in the casket with them." And that may not be the all the time, huh?
May not be all the time, depending on if the organs failed. Yeah, if the organs are no good, but that doesn't mean that they haven't taken something out or what they could take, even though your body's dead.
Right.
So you know, you get. It's amazing to me what they're actually doing to us, and we're so unaware of it.
And you're so unaware of it. Yes. I was always of the belief many years ago that, you know, when you heard these reports out of Chicago of 500 murders, and most were young African American men, that we ought to be organ donors.
That's interesting, right?
Right. It is very interesting because think about it. Because if we're organ donors, then we can populate the organ donation base, or database, I should say, the database. And if we're populating that database, then we increase the opportunity to save lives of people like us. And the reason I say that is because every organ is not for everybody, right? I mean, you know, every heart is not for everybody. Every kidney is not for everybody. And I don't mean just, you know, a person. I mean a physical body. You know, it isn't. And there's this belief from this professor at Howard University. For years, he's been advocating organ donors in, of course, the African American community, because the organ donor database is not populated by a lot of African Americans. Now, I see a look on your face, so you know, tell me what you're thinking when I talk about organ donors.
Right. Well, who's buying organs in the black community?
Who's buying them?
Yeah, who's buying organs in the?
No, nobody's buying them. But let's say, for instance, I had a church member whose heart was failing, and when they finally found the heart for him, it was his body was so weak that they couldn't give it to him. But had they found the match, and my understanding was that his match could have come from almost anybody, but the best person it could have come from was another black or brown person, Latino person, or an African American. And because the organ database is not populated by us as much, you know, for instance, you pull your driver's license out, and most African Americans don't elect to donate their organs. And the only reason why I even brought this up is because my thought back in 2010, this was a discussion I had in Washington D.C. in 2010, is that if you're gonna kill yourselves anyway, or if you're gonna live a life or be in an environment where 500 of you in one city are going to die, give somebody else the opportunity to live by donating your organs.
Right. The only issue that I have with that is you can't trust nothing this government is doing. Man, the government is feeding you fluoride. The government is spraying chemicals in the air on you, right? So the point when I asked you who's buying the organs, this is for rich white people. So I wouldn't give my organ to no one. I wouldn't put on the list for what? For now, an old white man laying on his deathbed saying, "Hey, I need a match," and they look me up and find that match, and they have somebody kill me just to get my organs. No.
Kind of like Get Out.
Right, exactly, right. but nevertheless, no, I don't trust. You know, here's the thing.
Okay, I got you.
You mentioned something about somebody's heart failing. The question is, why is the heart failing? Why do we get to that point to where we need to have failure heart? Why ain't we teaching how to eat proper before we get ill?
Well, because everybody's heart, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate here, everybody's heart is not failing because of a bad diet. Sometimes it is congenital, you know, and sometimes it is congenital.
Right. Well, let me tell you this. It's very interesting, and this is a study coming up out of Dr. Pukum. It's a very good doctor that I'm kind of into studying with now. Is about regenerating your cells. You have the capabilities to regenerate all your cells in your body.
Absolutely.
So you have the capability to heal yourself from any illness in your body. Right?
Absolutely. I believe that.
So if you're not teaching the proper aspect of diet to prevent being ill, then you're looking to get ill. And so that's the thing we're not doing. We're not conscious of what they're doing to us, nor are we conscious of what we're doing to ourselves. So if we were, we wouldn't be in this condition. We wouldn't have to be an organ donor or have a failure liver or, you understand what I'm saying? So we're actually poisoning ourselves to end up needing an organ or needing something.
To need an organ.
Right, in the first place. I remember a gentleman came to me and told me about that he started using garlic and other stuff for his high blood pressure because he wanted to get off the high blood pressure medicine. I looked at him and I said, well, let's get to the issue of why you have high blood pressure. You want to look to the results. You want to look to the cure. I mean, you want to look to the treatment. You don't want to look to the cure of it. Change your diet. And I could see in his face that was the hardest work that he would ever have to do is change his diet.
You hear that, Ms. Dunn?
He didn't want to address changing his diet. He wanted to address what's best that he could use to combat his high blood pressure. But he didn't want to change the diet. And that's the issue.
The source of the problem. The source of the problem.
Right.
Okay, so it's interesting you bring that up because I saw one of our viewers had commented, what can you do to get rid of high blood pressure? I'm type O. That's what she said.
Change your diet. You got to look at what you're eating. You got to really stop eating processed foods, number one. Eat more green food. Basically, just do a lot of green food. Do a lot of fruits and vegetables, right? And here's another thing people don't understand is the time of day we're eating. We're eating wrong times.
Right.
So the digestive system shuts down around sunset, right? But people still eat.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So what happens is that food just lays in your stomach. It doesn't digest.
Right.
It becomes toxic, right? Because the most time you should eat is in the day when the sun is up. When the sun starts going down, you should stop eating at that point.
Right.
So we're actually making ourselves ill and then say, well, what can I do?
Right.
Instead of changing how we eat.
Right. That's very interesting because there are so many approaches to living well, right? The time of day that you eat, for instance, that you're talking about, how much time you how much time you spend in the sun. For instance, when we talk about the best vitamin D, right? So I see people that wear caps like, you got the baseball cap on, and I always ask people, why are you doing that? Remember the age and the day of sun visors? And we all thought sun visors were fashionable. All we were doing was depriving ourselves of that natural vitamin D, right?
Well, yes. Well, here's the thing about getting vitamin D. There's two processes that you can get vitamin D, and it's best to get it in the sun opposed to taking a vitamin D3 pill. So you only need 20 minutes a day in the sun. Mainly, if you get 20 minutes in the morning, right after the sun rises, the best rays you can get from the sun, or 20 minutes when the sun sets, or 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, right? Regardless, if you get at least 20 minutes a day, you have enough vitamin D already produced. That's what your body produced the sun rays into, vitamin D inside your body. You have enough. It is when wintertime comes, you're not getting enough sunlight that you may want to take a supplement, right? So with that said, when I'm talking about supplements, is another issue I wanted to bring up about a folate and a folic acid.
A folic acid.
Yeah, a folic acid is when you take a pill like a vitamin C or whatever the case may be. A folate is when you eat green food. And what is a folate? A folate is what rebuilds your DNA. It's a master DNA rebuilder, and you get a folate in green food.
Okay.
So there's your health right there.
Right,
That's the
right.
rehealing your health right there. It's understanding our health from a cellular level. When you look at the discussion about melanin and what it is capable of, you can't get no more understanding of being black than understanding your cellular level. You can study Africa, you can study different cultures or whatever, but you're still missing a point if you ain't looking at your diet to your cellular level.
Right.
You can be a person to be born in no knowledge, but if you're eating right, you're gonna know everything about yourself and how you function. There's a connection between what is called psychoneuroimmunology, the process where your brain takes a thought and process into a chemical component that is now physical in your brain. Whatever it is you vision or whatever it is you want, you can actually use this process and it becomes what is called a neurotransmitter that goes down your spine throughout your body, and it actually activates, and everything in your body, every part of your body knows what your brain is thinking at that time, right?
Right.
So this is very important even in our mental health, which is mainly the main discussion, is the mental health.
Right.
If your body ain't right, your mind ain't right.
Your mind's
Just
not
that
right.
simple.
Absolutely. Let me as we get closer to the point of closing the show, let me just ask about how does hydration play into this? Being having a hydrated body,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to constantly being dehydrated, and the relationship to illnesses.
Well, if you dehydrate it, you have a risk. You risk of causing your organs to shut down. So, like I was relating to the plant, how the plant takes sunlight, converts it into energy, it sucks in carbon dioxide, and it drinks water. The byproduct is oxygen. That's what we take. We breathe out carbon. It eats carbon. See the relationship? When a tree gives you fruit, and we eat the fruit, right? The tree gave us a favor. It gives us life. Then our stool feeds the tree. See the relationship between us and vegetables, and us and fruits, and us and the natural life, green life. We're living off base, and this is why the illness happens. So we're not drinking enough water, for one thing, and that plays a role in the circulation of your blood.
Interesting.
Go-to cola is very good for circulating, opening your arteries to where you can have a lot of flow.
What is the name of that plant now?
Go-to cola? Go-to cola is a leaf.
GOTU KOLA.
Correct. Go-to cola. It is good for circulating the blood in your body and your brain.
Gotcha.
Which is mainly needed for us, right? So a lot of these things we're unaware of. Nobody's teaching us in school. No institution is teaching us. No church, no university is teaching us about the dynamics of how our body functions. So that begins to make you ask, why is that? This information is important, and it is. Why ain't this information simple?
Right.
Very simple and for us to understand.
Right. And there's a reason we're not getting
There's
it,
a
right?
reason, right? There's a reason, because the allopathic medicine is money in keeping your ass ignorant.
We're gonna take our last break here, DJ Ice, and when we come back, John Yah, we're gonna wrap this up. And you know, people are churning in saying that they shared the show. Yes, bring him back on the show. This is awesome, etc., etc. And we're gonna do that. You tell us to bring him back, we're gonna bring him back. It was a wad of knowledge here, a wad of knowledge. So we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna ask John Yah to wrap up this topic tonight: health, melanin, and the melanated diet from a unique and different perspective. This is Conscious Fever here on 97thebeatfm.com. I'm Karl Price, your host. We'll be right back.
You can't handle the truth.
You have a story to tell, and your story could be intimate and personal or something you want the entire world to see, because a tattoo is the most unique and personal form of individual expression. And body art is a master's craft. So when you decide to let somebody draw on your canvas, you need to seek out the truth. Truth Tattoos have been creating world-class body art for over 10 years, and there's nothing the Truth can't handle. Check out Truth Tattoos on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll see there's other tattoo artists, and there's the truth. Stop being lied to and book your next tattoo appointment with the Truth at 502-408-8403.
You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Karl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.
All right, welcome back here on Conscious Fever as we wrap up here on 97thebeatfm.com. My guest tonight is John Ya, and he's talking about health, melanin, and the melanated diet from a unique and different perspective. So, John Ya, wrap this up for us now. I understand that you brought some books, and it was an interesting comment you made, which is something that I have noticed for years, and that is that you can actually look at somebody in their face and tell whether they're healthy or unhealthy.
Yes. You can look at someone's tongue. You can look at someone's lips. You got certain, if you've seen a person that has dark marks around here, it identifies an organ problem. Have that dark marks. So here I have for your viewers a book called, you can see, Holistic Self-Diagnosis, right? And you can tell where the person has a problem, but even before you get to a doctor, that you're having this problem in your body.
Right.
A heart problem is in here. You can have if you're having high blood pressure, if you're having a kidney problem, that can be around, and there's a dark mark will show up right on the side of your face. Right, and so we don't see that because we don't see the significance in it. Because at that point, let me tell you, it's interesting that we are so bent on listening to the white coat doctor. We wait until he tells
The who?
us
The white coat doctor. Okay.
The white man with the white coat.
With the white coat.
Right, with that allopathic medicine. And we fail to recognize our natural ability to heal ourselves and understand ourselves. If your tongue is white, and that identifies that you're dehydrated.
Right.
I remember putting up a post about dealing with smoking and what it does to your lungs. And actually, it shows the darkness of your lips, that your lungs are toxic.
Right.
And so what I try to do basically is just give a basic understanding through provoking a thought to make a person kind of see what I'm talking about. Absolutely. So basically, but here's a great book. It's called Why Darkness Matter. This deals with the
show Facebook views also.
This deals with the neuromelanin. And it's one of the books that I've studied, dealing with understanding how neuromelanin works. Like I said, I became very fascinated with the brain after I got into neuromelanin.
Right. Okay. And there's another one.
Well, this one here is a basic book. This one here is called Melanin: Why Black People Are Black. And this is a very interesting book here. This is by Dr. Lolly Africa. Both these books are actually by Dr. Lolly Africa, but the one about the power of melanin in the brain is by Dr. Ann Brown, Dr. Moore, and Dr. Richard King.
How much are the books?
How much are they? I get them off Amazon. I mean, I think this book here probably cost me about $50. But it's a great book to have in your archives, just to look over, right?
So you can get those books on Amazon.
Yes.
I know somebody asked how much is the book, and they're asking, does it help to get rid of any kinds of cancer? And I'm gonna take a stab at that question. It doesn't. I'm not sure if that's the right way to ask the question. Does it get rid of any type of cancer? I think what it does is that it helps to prevent you from getting to that point of cancer. So, because that's the problem, right, John? I mean, that's the problem. People are always looking for a quick fix,
Exactly.
right? When really the fix is the planning process. Right. If you plan your diet the right way, then you can get around that. But it's very interesting. So then, tomorrow when you go to work, when you guys go to work, start looking at your coworkers. I tell you, if you've got a coworker with more in front of his if his belly is preventing him from seeing his toes, that's a problem. If he's got dark spots on him, if he's got different things going on, molds and different things like that, right? Mm-hmm. Coming out of your skin, all of that is just your skin saying it's a little too much in here. I mean, your body is saying it's a little too much in here, so it's pressing itself outside of in any way, by any means necessary.
Correct. Well, in that sense, you're talking about a pheomelanin people, not EU melanin people. But your body always detox. If your body's not detoxing, then it's maintaining the toxins in your body, and that's where your disease starts. So, but all diseases can be reversed. All diseases can be reversed. Diabetes can be reversed.
Absolutely,
by
right.
people just eating right and changing their diets.
Okay. Well, John Yah, I guess we'll have you back on another day when we have more time and less technical difficulties, because this has been an awesome show. Any closing thoughts?
Well, one of the things I opened it up with was talking about antioxidants. It is very good, no matter how you're eating, of course. If you're not eating right, then you should take in a lot of antioxidants. And you can get antioxidants from several sources that are good. Goji berry, pomegranate, a lot of them that very high in antioxidants. You should take a lot of it. Or if you're breathing even in the toxins in the air. So it's always good to do this every day to find some of the best foods that are high in antioxidants. It'll help you regenerate your cells. Let me say this about regenerating your cells real quick. Your skin, you have a whole new body of skin every 30 to 40 days. So you really are what you eat.
Interesting. Well, Ms. Morrison, thank you for watching. She says thank you for having him on the show. Thank you, John Yah, and I agree he should come back on your show. So we would have him back on the show. All right. Well, listen, this is right by popular demand. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, sir, and we're going to have you back by popular demand. Send me the link, please, and thank you. You're welcome, Miss Dunn, and we're going to do that. Hopefully you're still safe from the tornado in St. Louis. Well, I'm Karl Price, your host of Conscious Fever here on 97thebeatfm.com. Once again, thank you for your patience. Thanks for joining me tonight, and thanks for your patience for the technical difficulties that we had earlier. I don't know, maybe it's Facebook. Maybe they're trying to censor this show, DJ Ice. I'm not sure.
That's why they need to go to 97thebeatfm.com, click on live TV, and they'll be able to see us. So it don't necessarily have to be Facebook Live.
You're absolutely right. And watch out for the video editing of this particular show. You've received the live version. I'm Karl Price. This has been Conscious Fever. This has been Conscious Fever here on 97thebeatfm.com. Again, thanks for joining me. We'll be back here next week, right? That's the day after the 4th of July. Maybe we'll bring John Yah back with some fireworks.
He brought some incense, man.
Right. He brought some incense. You didn't even get to talk about the incense.
I wanted to bring. This is the gift.
Thank you, and the plant, plant.
Whenever I'm invited somewhere, I bring a gift.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Well, what is the gift that you brought to the show tonight?
Well, this is actually from my company here. This is the brand that I actually manufactured. This brand here.
And this brand is
called the Saya Baba and the Soap Stick brand that we have in over 500 locations.
Okay, the Soap Stick brand, Saya Baba. And this is Polo Blue, it says, for all the Polo T-shirt wearers.
Right, exactly. And these are the imported brands that I import from India that we also have. But the popular ones is the ones that I...
Okay, you import these from India, but this is made in America, right?
No, this is imported from India.
Imported from India.
This is made in America.
Oh, this is made in America. Okay.
We make these at my facility.
July 4th is my daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, Brianna. July 4th. Okay, we won't be here next week.
Thank you.
I know you've seen these out.
And DJ Ice, one of the viewers said thanks for something. I'm not sure what she's saying thanks for, DJ Ice, but she's saying thanks. But anyway, thanks for joining us here on Conscious Fever, 97thebeatfm.com. I'm Karl Price, your host. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back next week, same bet time, same bet channel, with another interesting topic. Y'all have a wonderful and safe week. Have a safe 4th of July. And happy 10-year-old birthday to Brianna in St. Louis. All right, good night.
You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Karl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.